And that's when my dreams and my goals were starting to be established in my mind of what I wanted to be when I grew up, so to speak. And of course, education was a big part of that because I knew if I didn't make it in sports, and my mom always told me that and reminded me of that, if I didn't do the right things in school, I wouldn't be allowed to play sports. So in some ways, it was a motivator for me to get my education because I knew if things didn't work out in sports, I would always have that to fall back on. But it also drove me to make sure that I did whatever I possibly could to go out and enjoy my passion, which was sports. And I played all the sports when I was a young kid, but it was something about football, it was something about the competition and the passion of playing the quarterback position that really drove me to football. And even though football might not have been my best sport growing up as a young kid, it became that because of the way I worked at it. You know, I had, like I said, a passion for it. I had a work ethic that I wasn't going to let anybody outwork me. There were a lot of kids in my neighborhood that might have been a little bit more talented than I was, but I think what separated me from them was my work ethic, was my desire, was my commitment to what I wanted to do at a very young age. And I think that's what it takes in order to be successful in anything in life, is that commitment, is that work ethic, is setting goals, is willing to do whatever it takes to be successful. And we live in a very, very competitive environment right now. So it's even more vital for you guys as young people moving ahead in your lives to make sure you keep up with that competitiveness and try and get an edge on everybody that's out there trying to do the same thing as you. You got to do something that kind of separates yourself from the pack. And hopefully you can find out what that is. For me, I found my passion. I found what I wanted to do at a very, very young age. Hopefully you know by now what it is you want to do with the rest of your life. And if you don't, there's nothing wrong with that, because there are a lot of kids in college right now that don't know exactly what they want to do. They kind of have a major, then they change majors, and then they experience something else, and all of a sudden their goals change. So there's nothing wrong with that either. You're still young. You still have a lot of time to make those decisions, but the sooner you can find out what it is you want to do, the sooner you can start working on it and start putting the work in that it's going to take to be successful in this competitive environment that we live in. I was fortunate enough to play in the Canadian Football League coming out of college. I wanted to go into the National Football League. That was my dream and my goal as a young kid to do that, but it just wasn't presented to me coming out of college for a lot of different reasons, and I won't get into a lot of those reasons. Maybe if you guys are interested, you might want to ask a question about that. If not, I'll just say that the Canadian Football League was a great opportunity for me. It was a better opportunity for me to play quarterback at that time, when that's the position that I wanted to play, and I wasn't going to let anybody else tell me that I couldn't play it. So it was just a matter of finding the opportunity and somebody giving me that opportunity, and the Canadian Football League provided that. So I went up there and played for 6 years, had a lot of great success, and then the NFL all of a sudden decided that they wanted me to come play in the National Football League. And I came back to the league. I was able to play 17 years in the National Football League. Created a great life for myself and my family. I did a lot of great things on the field and off the field. I established a foundation called the Crescent Moon Foundation, where we gave back to the communities in all the different cities that I lived in, because I played for 4 different NFL teams. I played for the Houston Oilers, who are now the Tennessee Titans. I played for the Minnesota Vikings, the Seattle Seahawks, and the Kansas City Chiefs. In every one of those communities I lived in and played in, my foundation did something to get involved in those communities to help give back, whether it was providing scholarships for underprivileged high school kids to go to college, whether it was providing camp opportunities in the summer for young kids, all types of different programs that usually centered around youth. That was something that was important to me, because that was something that helped me as a young kid when I was growing up in Los Angeles, that kept me off the streets, kept me in positive environments, and it also just provided me an opportunity to experience a lot of different things. And if it wasn't for some of those different opportunities, who knows where I would have ended up, because in LA at that time when I was growing up, there were a lot of gangs, and there was a lot of bad influences out there that I probably could have drifted that way. So I always felt like if I ever got the opportunity to be in a position to help give back and help some other young kids turn in the right direction, I would do that. And that's kind of what the the philosophy behind my foundation's work. So again, I played the game for 17 years. I was fortunate enough after my career was over to be inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And after my career was over, I got into communications, which was my major in college at the University of Washington. I've done broadcasting, both television and radio. I've done both football and basketball. And I also got involved in a sports agency headed by Lee Steinberg, who then turned that agency into a sports and entertainment agency, and got a lot of experience working with him. He was my agent pretty much my whole career, and he provided me an opportunity to do some work with him when I was done. And then since then, I've decided to start my own sports marketing and entertainment agency called Sports One Marketing. That's what I'm presently doing now, along with the broadcast work I'm still doing for the Seattle Seahawks, for all their football games. I also do college football games for Fox Sports Northwest in the Pac-10, and I'm a correspondent for Sporting News Radio, where I do a bunch of different radio shows throughout the week leading up to the football games. So I do that on top of a lot of different appearances and also speaking engagements, somewhat like this. So my schedule is as busy as I need it to be, or as I want it to be, and I think that's the way I like it. I'm a very driven guy as far as work ethic and wanting to stay busy. Having played football for so many years, this time of the year, the fall, my body is used to exerting a lot of energy playing football, and I can no longer do that anymore because, you know, I'm older now and I had to retire, but I still have that same energy, and that's why I stay involved in so many different projects. So that's kind of a little summary of who I am and what I've done. I'm going to open up the floor now to any questions that you guys might have about myself, about my career, about business, about sports, or anything that I feel like I can answer. And you guys feel welcome to do that. But again, I just want to thank you for having me out this evening. And the fact that you guys are here is that you care something about business and you care something about sports. And hopefully I'll be able to give you just a little bit of my knowledge of what I've experienced over the last 25 years playing professional football and also being in the business world.